Let's take a look at the market for the Cadillac CT5 V. For those that don't know, I'm Craig and my brother and I built this site because we just got frustrated with how the other sites are set up. When I'm looking at the market for the CT5V, I'm looking at availability, market velocity, spec, and budget. Starting off with availability. When we look at the market over the last 3 months, we're going to notice a couple things. First is that a month ago is when we're seeing the peak amount of inventory available. Next is over the last 3 months, we're also seeing that 2025's, the remaining inventory, is starting to move off of lots, and 2026's inventory is starting to build. Next, when we look at overall spec and availability for these, one thing to note is that for market velocity, orange moves very quickly off of lots compared to, say, silver, yellow, red, or even beige. So if you're looking at orange, be mindful of how quickly these things move off of lots. Next, let's look at budget, because for these model years, 2025 is when we saw a refresh, and we see here this 10K difference between 2024 and 2025, is that this refresh is commanding a premium, and also it's for these newer model years. So if you have new budget, I would recommend starting off with 2025 and calling around to these remaining dealers, because when we look at the average days for sale, it's still sitting at 78 days is the average days that one of these cars has been sitting on lot for, and there's still enough inventory of these new cars that are out there to call around and see how aggressive the dealers get on price. However, if you don't have new car budget, I would go with a 2022, because really you got a few years into these like model years for CT5V, and also reliability wise, we have a little bit of a drop off here from the 2020 and 2021. So I would go with a 2022. And then when we look at, say, the difference between all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive, I would go all-wheel drive if you need it for inclement weather. And so let's just take a look at this. We'll take a look at the market, because this is kind of the sweet spot that I would look at here. This like $41,000 to $44,000, between those that are on like 20 to 30,000 miles, because for basically the same amount of money, you could get one with more miles, so why not try to get one with a bit lower miles first and then work outwards? Anyway, thanks so much for the comment. I hope this helps.